Welcome back to episode of SmoothBrainEDH. We have the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. We got another exciting game for you all this week. They were recorded on our live stream prior to MagicCon Las Vegas. Come check out our streams every Monday night right on this channel. First up is Jason and Hazezon, Shaper of Sand. This is a Naya lands deck focused around deserts, using Hazezon to play deserts from graveyards and flood the board with tokens. Next up is Ethan on Melek, Reforged Researcher. This is a Izzet Spellslinger deck, using Melek as a cost reducer for big splashy spells, or as a big old beater after filling the yard with instants and sorceries. Third is Caden on Caesar, Legion's Emperor. This Mardu deck is a creature token strategy, going wide with tokens and using Caesar to generate value by sacrificing them. Last is Matt on Zur, Eternal Schemer. This Esper deck is all about enchantment creatures, using Zur to give them a whole bunch of keywords and swinging them in for tons of damage. We're about to hop right into the game. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give us a like and subscribe to the channel. We have links to our social media pages, our free public Discord server, the Decklists, and our Patreon in the description. We are partnered with Dragon Shield. Check out our affiliate link in the description if you'd like to pick up any sleeves, deck boxes, or playmats. Use code SMOOTH5 at checkout for 5% off your order. Now, on to the gameplay.
Looks like Matt wins the die roll. He'll start off with his Undercity Sewers and Surveil 1. Triumphant Reckoning to the bin, and then the turn is passed to Jason. He plays Snow Forest, into Exploration, into Ancient Tomb, into Sol Ring, and then he'll pass the turn to Ethan, who just goes Island into Sol Ring, and then he'll pass to Caden, who joins the Surveil gang with a Shadowy Backstreet, and his Surveil stays on top, and then he'll pass to Matt, who plays Underground River and passes to Jason. Jason will play a 3 Visits, and this gets him an untapped Stomping Ground to the battlefield. He'll then cast an Invasion of Kaldheim, and he attaches it to Ethan. Sylvan Library, Field of the Dead, and Beast Whisperer are exiled. Then he'll draw 3, and then play Field of the Dead as land for turn. And then the turn is passed to Ethan, who will bolt himself by playing Seagate Reborn as land for turn, and then he'll just pass. Caden will play Snow Plains, and then cast Corpse Knight and pass to Matt, where we'll see Vault of Champions into Phyrexian Arena, and then the turn is passed to Jason. He starts off with Beast Whisperer. He'll then play Boseiju as land for turn, and cast the Sylvan Library. Then he'll pass the turn to Ethan, who will cast Factor Fiction on end step. Matt calls dibs, so Ethan targets him.
Let's go ahead and reel top 5. A Mountain, thank God. Stormkill an Artist. Cyclonic Rift. An Island. And Soulsfire.
Matt splits the piles between lands and non-lands, and Ethan takes the lands. We'll then move to his turn, where he'll play the Mountain and cast Melek, and then pass to Caden. On Caden's turn, he'll shock in a Sacred Foundry, then cast a Bastion of Remembrance, and he gets a 1/1 on ETB. This will trigger Corpse Knight, and then the turn is passed to Matt. And he'll start off with a Swamp, and then he'll cast Zur, Eternal Schemer. And then the turn is passed to Jason. And he decides to pay the full 8 to Sylvan Library to keep 2 more cards. He'll then play Naganjo as land for turn, then tap for 3 to cast his commander, Hazezon. He'll draw a card when he does, and then play Ramunap Ruins as a second land drop. It's a desert, so Hazezon will trigger and make him 2 1/1s. This is also his 7th unique land, so he gets a 2/2 zombie as well. Oh, legendary cat cam, let's go. After this, Jason casts and kicks Sowing Mycospawn. It was kicked, so double trigger, and the land exile will target Ethan's Mountain. No red for you, sir. Ethan will immediately respond with a Deflecting Swat to change the target to Jason's Field of the Dead, so it is exiled instead. And the land tutor finds a Grasping Dunes to the battlefield. Landfall triggers, and then it is sacrificed to kill Caden's token. The turn is then passed to Ethan, who'll start off with an Inspired Tinkering. This exiles Lorien Revealed, 3 steps ahead, and Slip Through Space. And he gets treasures. After this, he'll cast Slip Through Space on Melek, and then he'll move to combat and swing 12 unblockable commander damage at Jason, who just has to take it. Post-combat, Ethan will tap his Sol Ring to cast Izzet Signet, and then the turn is passed to Caden, who starts off by playing and fetching with a Marsh Flats for a Raucous Theater, Surveil 1. It stays on top, then he'll tap for 2 and cast Cruel Celebrant. Each of his opponents lose 1. The turn is then passed to Matt, and he starts off with a Morphic Pool as land for turn. He'll then just pass the turn, and on cleanup, he discards a Plains. Now on Jason's turn, he'll play that Grasping Dunes from his graveyard, more landfall triggers. Then he'll drop a Beastmaster Ascension. Oh. It resolves, so he'll then move to combat and swing everything he can over at Ethan, which is 8 creatures, so the Ascension will have 8 triggers. They resolve. Ethan declares no blocks, but before damage, he'll cast Aetherize. There goes Jason's board. Post-combat, he'll recast Sowing Mycospawn and not kick it, and this finds a Scavenger Grounds to the battlefield. Jason will then play and fetch with an Arid Mesa, and this finds a Snow Plains to the battlefield. And then he'll pass the turn to Ethan, who starts off with an Island. Then he'll tap for 6 and slam the 1000-Year Storm. Matt will attempt to swan song this, but Ethan's got the reduced cost 3 steps ahead. He only pays 2 blue mana to A, counter target swan song, and B, draw 2 and discard a card. So then it resolves, and Ethan will cast a Pyretic Ritual. This is the second instant or sorcery he casts this turn, so he gets to copy it. So he'll get 6 floating red mana. After this, he'll cast Expressive Iteration and get a total of 3 of them. For each of them, he'll look at the top 3 cards of his library, put 1 into exile, 1 into his hand, and 1 at the bottom of his library. The exiled cards are Valakut Awakening, Mind Stone, and Pinnacle Monk. After this, Ethan will put 4 copies of Valakut Awakening on the stack. With the first one, he'll put 5 cards to the bottom of his library and draw 6. Then he'll put 4 cards on the bottom and draw 5. Then 5 cards on bottom, draw 6. And then with the last resolution, he'll put 6 cards on bottom and draw 7. He'll then use the last 2 of his floating mana to cast the Mind Stone, and then he'll move to combat and swing a 22 power Melek over at Matt. Matt says nuh-uh, and he'll Void Rend Melek. Yeah, so Melek's destroyed. Ethan will then pass the turn, and on cleanup, he discards a land and Arcane Signet. We are now on to Caden's turn, where he'll play and fetch with an Arid Mesa. Time for more Surveil, he'll get Elegant Parlor, and he puts Kambal to the graveyard. After this, he'll tap for 4 and cast Caesar. ETB will make all of his opponents lose a life. Caden will then move to combat and swing for 3 at Ethan, and he declines Caesar's trigger, and Ethan will just take the 3. Then the turn is passed to Matt, who starts off with the Plains, then he'll drop Bolas's Citadel. There's absolutely nothing for him to play on the top of his library, so he'll just pass to Jason, who starts off by casting Hazezon again. He'll then cast Crop Rotation, sacrificing his Ancient Tomb. No more damage, please. And this finds him in Abraded Bluffs, which will ping Ethan for 1 and make him more 1/1s. After this, he'll sacrifice his Grasping Dunes to put a -1/-1 counter on Cruel Celebrant. Then he'll play it from his graveyard, get 1/1s, and put another counter on there by sacrificing it to kill the Cruel Celebrant. When it dies, each of Caden's opponents lose 2, and he'll gain 2. Then Jason will play it again from his graveyard as his second land drop and get more 1/1s. Jason will then move to combat, and he'll swing Sowing Microspawn over at Matt, and then a Sand Warrior at Ethan and Caden. They all just take their damage, and then the turn is passed to Ethan. Uh-oh. That man gets to untap with a 1,000-Year Storm. Oh, and then he'll cast a Storm Splitter. And then a Jeska's Will, Storm Splitter trigger. He targets Matt. This floats him 5 red mana, and he'll use 2 of it to cast Cathartic Reunion. He discards 2 cards as an additional cost, and triggers are put on the stack. Extra Storm Splitters, and an extra copy of Cathartic Reunion, so he'll draw 6. He'll then cast Preordain. Triggers. He gets 2 more copies of it, and more Storm Splitters. The first one is top and draw. Second one is top bottom draw. And then the third one is also top draw. He'll then cast a Rite of Flame. This will get him 8 red mana, and he goes up to 16 Storm Splitters. After this, he'll cast Frantic Search. Oh lord. That is 5 copies he'll get to resolve. He'll go up to 32 total Storm Splitters, and he'll definitely be floating mana in response to each Frantic Search resolving. So to save a little bit of time for everybody, he ends up with 12 floating blue mana, and he discards mostly mana sources. There's a few spells like Magma Opus that go in the yard too. After this, he'll cast a Faithless Looting, which gets him up to a total of 64 Storm Splitters, and he gets to resolve 6 copies of this. So he filters through a ton of cards, then casts Sundering Eruption. What's most important here is that Ethan goes up to 128 copies of Storm Splitter. They all have haste, don't forget. And Sundering Eruption essentially makes it to where all of his opponents cannot block. So everyone's just gonna pack up, and that makes Ethan and his 128 Storm Splitters the winner. Congratulations. Alright, thank you all so much for watching. That is the end of the stream game. If you ever want to catch one of those, be sure to tune in. We stream every Monday. Let us know what you guys thought of this game down in the comments below. I think that letting someone untap with 1,000-Year Storm is a sure way to end the game quick. Anyways, that's enough out of me for today, you guys. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I also hope you all have a smooth day.